You know what I love about Battlefront 2? Speculating about the content, the future content. The only thing better than that would be getting actual content, but we all know that EA's not going to deliver that soon. My name's DJGT for Star Wars Galaxy, and today I'm going to be talking about 5 villains that I personally want in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Obviously there are a bunch of villains that can make their way into the game, but this list is highly personal, it's my personal picks, but I'd love to hear your opinions on which villains you would like to have in Battlefront 2. Coming up in the number 5 spot, we have Jango Fett, a Mandalorian bounty hunter from Concord Dawn and the father, quote-unquote, of Boba Fett. He'd be using his dual Westar 15s, he would be able to use his jetpack. I mean, imagine him going around on Camino and you see him, well, basically blazing up the clones, even though they're, you know, his template, they're technically his children. It's sort of odd the same way with Boba, when you're looking at Boba, who is literally the exact same as these clones, just killing each other. It would be a weird sight, but it'd be really interesting to see how he'd interact with other characters, specifically through voice lines. You'd also be able to use his back rocket that is seen in Attack of the Clones. In the number 4 spot, we have a Sarge Ventress, who is only seen in the 2003 Clone Wars series and the 2008 The Clone Wars series. She is a Ratataki Dathomirian witch, which means that a lot of the time they will be very well connected with the Force, as she was well drafted into the Night Sisters of Dathomir. She also dual-wield lightsabers. The original ones were blue and green, and the ones that she later donned were 2 red lightsabers. She also had the ability to conjure Force lightning, as was seen in the original Clone Wars series. It'd be very interesting to see a Sarge Ventress in the game, as she would have counters like Obi-Wan Kenobi, as was mentioned in a video earlier on in this week. I do recommend that you do check out that video. She will also be able to have different skins, like a more cartoonish skin that was seen in the 2003 version of the Clone Wars, and a more, well, realistic one that would be used the majority of the time in the game. At the number 3 spot, we have Savage Opress, the brother of Darth Maul, who is currently in the game already. He would be a heavy character. He would also be a tank and massive damage absorber. He was seen in the 2008 The Clone Wars series alongside Darth Maul, where they took over Mandalore and dethroned the Duchess Satine. He would also be a fairly slow attacker. I'd imagine he'd be comparable to Thanos in the currently Fortnite game mode, where you pick up the Infinity Gauntlet. He's very slow but does put out a bunch of damage. He would also be using his iconic double saber, much the same as Darth Maul, but obviously a lot less athletic because of his much bigger build. At the number 2 spot, we have Count Dooku. Obviously, he's a very light attacker. He is methodical in how he attacks. He uses his very high-class lightsaber fighting style. He's very agile. He will obviously use his iconic curved single saber, and he will also be able to use a secondary Force lightning ability, much the same as Palpatine and much the same as the possible Sarge Ventress. Now, the one that you've all been waiting for, the number 1 spot, goes to General Grievous. Now, General Grievous has, of course, had his models seen in the files of Battlefront 2. Grievous will most likely be the most likely one to come in first in terms of villains. He's, of course, going to be a heavy attacker because he's a bunch of metal. He's very clunky. Although he would be faster than Savage Opress due to the fact that his bionic legs are very, well, sturdy and strong. Initially, he'd be using 2 lightsabers, like in the original Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, the video game, where he initially uses 2 lightsabers against Kenobi and then enters into a temporary Force saber mode, which would of course be a timed and then a cooldown mode, so that he's not immediately overpowered, because a 1 lightsaber versus a 4 lightsaber, that's not going to go too well, especially in balanced combat like you'd expect in Battlefront 2. You could also take another step out of the Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, the video game, where he is able to conjure a blaster that was also seen in the film Revenge of the Sith as a temporary measure and a brief burst fire, much the same as Finn's ability in Battlefront 2. You'd also be able to have a rage mode similar to Vader, which would only have a 2-saber ability, but obviously deal out a lot more damage, but though less than the 4-saber mode. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I've been DJGT for Star Wars Galaxy. Please like, share and subscribe. Really do hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and of course remember to put your opinions and your comments and feelings about the list and just Star Wars Battlefront 2 in general, because we'd love to hear from you. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching, and may the Force be with you always.